Here we are at another episode of Ask the Expert. I want to thank you if you're joining us today or watching us after the fact. We get a lot of people who do it that way, tend to watch us later, and we're just appreciative whether you're joining us live or later. My name is Ann McClure, and I am a residential realtor, and I work by referral in close in Northern Virginia, Montgomery County, Maryland, and some surrounding areas for a company named McInerney Associates. And we have our special guest, Rebecca Rouet, from My Personal Assistant, with us today. That's the name of the company. Thank you for coming, Rebecca, and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're really excited. Our topic today is who gets what, how to purge, do I donate, sell, or trash? And this seemed very appropriate for an early in the year topic, and sort of leading into spring cleaning and tax season when people sort of feel overwhelmed with things and wanting to get that kind of fresh spring feeling of getting rid of things and having more space. And I think getting rid of physical clutter helps with mental clutter too. So we're very excited to bring you this topic. And Ask the Expert, we do a couple times a month. We interview a local business owner or manager who we think does great business and great work and has something good to share. So this started during the pandemic, and we've decided to keep it going. It seems to be of value to people. So thank you again for tuning in. We will have this available later on YouTube or my website, or if you can't find it, just reach out to me or Jennifer, and we will email you a link and make sure you get access to the materials. We have a lot of really good information to share today. I'd like to start with a real quick Metro DC area market update. We are in an extreme seller's market. We have just an incredible lack of inventory. To call it a drought, we were calling it a drought last year. And to put it in perspective, we have 30% fewer listings on the market right now than we did this time last year. And last year we had less than the year before. So early in the year, the last 3 years, we've started with very low inventory, and it's just going down each year. So it usually will start to improve as we get closer to spring. But to put it in perspective, a really easy way to think about it is right now, we have 30% less inventory than we had this time last year, which means for every 10 homes that were on the market last year at this time, we have 7. So it was a horrible crush this time last year. You can only imagine what that means for the market now. And some areas are a little bit easier to navigate, like Prince George's County, than close in Northern Virginia, like Arlington County. So it varies throughout the region, but everywhere it's a drought, it's just how extreme is it? It's all extreme, but how extreme? So if you have questions about your specific area or an area you're interested in, certainly reach out. I'm happy to help, or direct you to a realtor who's a specialist in an area that you may be seeking more information about. So it is an interesting time out there, and you need a good realtor partner who's great at strategy on your side. So I don't want to belabor this further. I want to get into our topic. So Rebecca, thank you for joining us again today. I think, people are really thinking about the whole reorganizing and efficiency and their space, how to get more done with less effort, and clearing out and cleaning up. There are a lot of obstacles to that. And as you know, I've been going through a house renovation, and I certainly have this kind of thing top of mind for myself. But it can be anything from adult kids who need to come get their stuff from their parents, to decisions to make about downsizing, or as you like to say, right sizing. What do you take with you, and will it even fit where you're going? How do you purge? Where do you start? And what good resources are out there? Can you donate? Do you sell? Do you recycle? Do you trash? I know a lot of people just have, it's almost cringeworthy, like, I'm filling the landfill and just contributing. I know a lot of people feel very strongly about not doing that. So today we were so excited to have you agree to join us, because we want to share resources and tips for streamlining your life and helping others and being environmentally friendly. So when I've talked to you about this in the past, you've basically said, when you're dealing with people with this kind of thing, you're dealing with 2 types of people, right? I was hoping you'd go into that and elaborate. We can use that for our launch pad.
Yes, the 2 types of people are, I'm at my wit's end. I don't have space in my brain or my house or my apartment or whatever for it. I just need to get rid of it. And I hopefully all of the people, both categories, are trying to be environmentally conscious, but some just want it gone. I just want it out of my life. I don't want to think about it ever again. And some people form a little bit more sentimental attachment to things, or like, I bought this for a reason and it's valuable to me, so I need to see that there's value from getting rid of it, whether it's, you know, selling or even just being a little bit more specific in where it goes, donates to, or gets, you know, given away to, because someone needs to appreciate it and recognize the value that the person getting rid of it applies to it, which is not always what the actual value is, but they want to feel like, I spent money, I spent time, this is in my life for a reason. I want something back from it when I get rid of it. So those are the two kinds of people. And the end game is getting rid of things, but the way you do it is, you know, different for both kinds of people.
Well, and it's helpful to have someone like you involved who doesn't have the emotional attachment, so you can help people like me or people watching who may feel the same way. Oh gosh, you know, let's talk about the reality of what this is and what can happen with it, and that is very, very helpful.
Well, and one of the things you touched on it when you in your introduction, but we are still in a pandemic, and we've been in it for almost 2 years now. People are tired of their own four walls or what's in their home, and they want either realize how much stuff they have and just need to get rid of, or they're going, we need to redo something in the house, and so we're renovating, or they're saying, we got to get out of this space, get bigger, get away, get, you know, something, which is obviously not that easy with the market being what it is and not the inventory being low, but people are wanting to do that, make that move. Either way, they're packing up, they're purging, they're getting rid of things, and they have to implement some kind of strategy. Moving, which you're doing, whether you're renovating or not, or selling, is the second most stressful thing you can deal with. It goes death, moving, taxes. So you see, it's very stressful. So I always just tell my clients, like, ask for help, give yourself some grace, hire people. There are experts out there. Don't think you can do it all yourself. You shouldn't do it all yourself. You're not a superhero, you know, so ask for help. And okay, so we have a slide that's going up right now, and there's some images, but just where to start is obviously make a list. What are you taking with you? Some people are, as Anne said, I like to say right sizing instead of downsizing. Some people are moving, you know, into bigger spaces as well. Is that tiny couch going to fit in your big living room now, or is that big couch going to move with you into your much smaller big dining room table going into a tiny like dining nook? So you have to make those decisions. And I, in the past, have used Nikki Van Eck, an interior designer, will come to your current space. If you're moving locally, she could go to both, but had a client that moved to Georgia. She came to the current space in Reston, measured out spaces, had the specs from the new place that they were moving into, and was able to say, don't even bother moving this, because you're paying movers to take things wherever you're going. Don't pay them to take this big, huge thing that's not going to fit in any space in your home. And so that was super helpful, because they didn't spend time, money, energy wasting getting things to a place that they would have had to deal with them, and didn't even have the garage space to deal with it. So I highly recommend, if you can hire someone, you can, you know, try to be as accurately measuring yourself as well. But you should know your space and your time, or if you vice versa, if you're moving into bigger space, you have this tiny little couch that was great for your small condo or an apartment, but looks almost silly in your big new home. So, you know, those are the things that you should figure out. And then a great way to start is to tell your family and friends, like, you have to be here by Saturday at this time to pick up what you want, or, you know, aunt so-and-so or cousin so-and-so wants this picture or this lamp. You're not taking it, great. But if you don't give them a deadline, they'll always just come next week. Oh, this weekend got busy or whatever. And you have to give them a deadline. You should stick to it as much as you can, so that you can get rid of your things in an appropriate way.
I see that so often. And people feeling very overwhelmed trying to get rid of things that belong to their kids or that they stored because they had the bigger house and it was a family heirloom that nobody wanted to get rid of, but nobody's making decisions or taking action either. I wanted to interject something really briefly. I know you're going to add to what you said, but with Nikki helping, and really, if you're watching this from some other part of the country, you can probably find interior designers that have a skill set. Nikki's fantastic if you're here in the metro region. I think she operated from a floor plan, right? That they got of the new space.
Yes, we had them send over and print out, the actual floor plan that they had.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And then the other thing about that, actually, we talked about this before, but they had a ton of plants and that were very important to them, and they couldn't take everything, but movers will not move those plants. So you do need to arrange another way to get that kind of product down or wherever you're going. So whether you're moving locally, you got to put it in your car and take it, or get a pickup truck or whatever. Movers don't do it. So they actually had their son come up and rent a little U-Haul trailer and drive it back down. So there are certain things, movers will not take. So that's to be considered as well. And when you're trying to get rid of things, if plants really mean something to you, you should give them to someone that will care for them, locally, because it's, hard to move them to where you need to go if you're moving.
I think you'll pay a pretty penny, but I recall that there are plant moving companies. Can't quote how much it would cost, but
I know.
but they exist. So, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
No, that's okay.
And we were gonna mention also working with an auction house, right? Or
so when once you've made that list, you have to figure out where the rest of the things that you're keeping are going, and no, sorry, that you're not keeping are going. the things that you're getting rid of, how are you getting rid of them? And the most important thing, and this is for both sides of both clients that I'm talking about, the ones that just want to get rid of it and I don't care, or I want to try to get money from it. What is something actually worth? Not what it's worth to you. It's millions of dollars to you, but it's $25 to someone else. So, because you're attaching your emotion and your sentimental value. But being realistic about it is really important, and setting realistic expectations. But I work with auction houses like Quinn's or Sloan's, and that's in the DC metro area, or there's other estate sales that you can do and stuff like that. But you have to have enough in your home to do an estate sale generally, and sometimes people need to get things out sooner. So an auction house, what I like about the idea is that it's out of your house, it's off your plate. You're asking, again, you're hiring an expert to do what they do. They have a broader reach. They're selling to not just your next door group or Facebook Marketplace group, which has its place, and there are great things to sell there as well. But you have to do that. So it is nice to give it to someone else and say it's gone, and it's out of your house. You have more space. You can, once you free space physically, you free space mentally as well.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We were saying that earlier. I think you feel better when you take a little time to purge. I've worked with Quinn's, and I've worked with Potomac auctions here locally. But actually, next time we do this in a couple of weeks, we're going to be interviewing a gentleman named Brian who owns Easy Auctioning, and they've developed a really wonderful system. And I know some of the other auction places have done this, but he developed a system during COVID where he comes in, puts everything into lots, and then helps you get rid of it. It doesn't have to be moved out of the house. He makes all the arrangements for people to come pick up at a specific window these lots. And then if they don't, he has a whole system for what he does after that. And he's going to talk more about that process as part of our continued effort to sort of purge and free yourself of some of your stuff this year.
And not just you're not just freeing yourself of your stuff, but you're freeing up your time and asking someone else to do it. And yes, they take a percentage and all that kind of stuff, but time is money. So when you hire someone that knows what they're doing, it's going to take them less time. And so it's going to be much more efficient. And my business is all about efficiency. So, trying to be as efficient as possible. So it makes the most sense to not try to reinvent the wheel. You can spend hours, posting things on, and Jennifer has a slide for all the ways that you can sell things yourself. And some people have all the time in the world, or they're not moving. And so maybe it makes sense, but you can do Facebook Marketplace or Nextdoor, or the free sites like Buy Nothing, Let Go. Free Cycle is a great app as well, where you can just like, the Buy Nothing app as a Facebook group that you can join locally, and you just say, hey, I've got birthday decorations from a car's birthday. They're going to be in my front porch tomorrow. Come get them. And that way you feel like better about, I spent the money and I don't want to just throw them away, but I'm really not going to use this birthday stuff ever again, or these baby clothes, or whatever you can think of that you want to get rid of. Somebody out there wants it. And so those are good ways to do it free. And you just have to think, is your input to output, how much time are you putting into it to how much time are you getting back from it? So, that's kind of an important balance that you need to find. And again, some people are super busy and they just want to, have someone else do it and just get rid of it, or just,
the time piece is critical. I usually say to my own clients, so if you had to guess, how long do you think it'll take you to pack up your kitchen? And if they say 3 hours, I say double it. No, you say triple. Okay. I say double, because nothing for whatever reason, along these lines of moving, sorting, purging, because you get caught up in the memories and how you want to organize on the other side and so on. It just takes way longer than anyone budgets for. So I think your point about time is fantastic.
Yeah.
Shifting gears a little bit, and this is good info on getting rid of stuff. Now, if somebody's remodeling, back to the right sizing, they're planning to stay longer versus, somebody downsizing or making a long distance move. What do they have similar options for where they can get rid of stuff? I mean, I can imagine like Free Cycle or Buy Nothing would be fantastic for boxes, but what about like building materials? I'll give a quick example. I have a girlfriend who remodeled her kitchen in Reston, and she interviewed several contractors, and one of her biggest criteria was, I want every single thing recycled, if it can be.
Well, so you're taking out those cabinets, you're taking out the door. That's a perfectly good door, but it doesn't go with your new home or new kitchen door, whatever it may be, but there's nothing wrong with it. So, and in your own house that you're remodeling right now, we had the windows, the contractor did take the windows to Habitat for Humanity. Usually I call first just to make sure that, it's something, someone's going to be there. This is what we're taking. And, is this okay? Sometimes they'll ask for the maker or the brand or something like that. Most of the time they actually don't care, but they will take those building materials. You've renovated your bathroom, you're on the second renovation. You want to maybe leave those current tiles for the new potential owners in case something happens. But the ones from the bathroom before, you should definitely send over to Habitat or donate, because those are really valuable tools. And it's just going to a landfill if you don't. And you have to empty the house before you move, before you close, before they do the walkthrough.
Yeah, I mean,
it might get that stuff and send it to where it's being, used again.
In my own example, I was changing the size of windows. So I couldn't reuse the same windows, but they were Marvin windows, which is a fantastic brand, and they were in good shape. And it's like, there's no way I can put these in a landfill. I just felt sick over it. I wanted to mention there's another resource I think is good. We don't have it up here, but if you're watching, you may want to check out anywhere really in the Mid-Atlantic. You could get to this with a little planning. It's called Second Chance in Baltimore. I believe my girlfriend donated her cabinets there, but they'll come get it with a little planning, and they have all kinds of interesting stuff. So, Rebecca, when we were talking about this project, you made the point of not just getting rid of your stuff if you're remodeling, but what if you want to pick up something? They might demolish a church and have some of the church pews you can use, or, it can be pedestrian, like old kitchen cabinets that somebody wants in their garage or whatever, but it can also be something really interesting, right?
Yeah, some like
you can pick up things too.
Pieces that add character to your home as well. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Or tile. I mean, I was talking to somebody who picked up tile at Restore for them to put in their house. So a lot of times we think of it as, getting rid of.
Yeah. And I mean, not only is it Habitat or something like that, but there's and not only your household stuff, but anything, you're like, okay, I'm not going to be using this lamp or these vases or whatever. And I schedule about once a month for one of my clients for Green Drop. So it's Go Green Drop is the website. It's on the screen right now, and you pick where you want it to be donated to, either St. Vincent, Purple Heart, Blind, American Red Cross. and they come on, whatever day they're in your neighborhood, and you can say like, oh, it's a large, it's 14 to 20 boxes or bags or whatever, and you label it, put it out where you designate it's going to be, and they just come, and you don't even know. They just, by 6 o'clock in the morning, you have to have it out there. They come at whatever point, take it away, and they send you a receipt. So for tax purposes, the donations are good that way as well. And you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to drive around with those bags of, whether it's clothes, towels, sheets, blankets, or household things in your trunk saying, I'm going to drop it off at Goodwill next time I drive by. You should definitely donate to Goodwill if that's the easiest solution for you. But also people will come to you. You get those things in the mail that say lupus people are going to be in your neighborhood next week. Just let us know and we'll stop by your house. Here are some bags. And, so they do make it easy for you to donate if if you know the right people.
Yeah, I think that's great. We're talking in large part about purging, and you don't want to, as you're thinking about purging, you don't want to sort of recreate or inherit the same problems you've been dealing with, right? So what about, like, we talked a little bit just now about lamps, but there's garden variety, run of the mill. Like, I think of, like, you look at old towels, for instance, and they're stained or they've gotten like those tears along the edge. Places like animal shelters will take stuff like that, right? Or, books and paper. Let's talk about some of that, kind of stuff. You're like, well, who's going to take this? It's damaged, or there still seem to be a lot of resources for that kind of thing.
Well, right. And that you can go on what we talked about before, but Free Cycle or Nextdoor or the Buy Nothing, and, let people take that away. If you've got things like, you said books, even old magazines, CDs, whatever, donation wise, you can take them to, and this is all like, check your local places, because during COVID, there are different rules, and libraries, nursing homes, churches, schools, like all of those things that used to take a lot, might not be taking things, or like, there's Omicron wave, and so they're not, but then they'll open up in a month and take things again. So just pay attention and just, check with your local facilities. But they will take those books. They like to refresh their libraries and stuff like that throughout the year. So check with those places, schools, or organizations that work with schools in need or neighborhoods in need and stuff like that. One of my favorite apps is the Declutter app that's on the screen right now. It is literally, it attaches to your camera on your phone, and you scan the CDs, video games, DVDs, even textbooks and children's books. And I think we discovered when I was looking at it yesterday that you can even donate your books that, and they send you a prepaid label that, your CD might be worth 21 cents and it might be worth $4.21. Put it in a box that you already have, because we know you bought something on Amazon, tape it up, put their prepaid label, and they send you a check or deposit the money into your account. And it's just a good way to kind of feel like you're getting something back for this music that you now stream on other platforms. You don't need the hard CD. And so you can, get rid of it and feel like you're getting, $20, and hey, it's, go get your nails done or whatever. So
no, I think
for
that's
one hand
great.
of your nails done.
It is kind of daunting when you look at your CD collection and how much money you spent over time. Now, getting 21 cents back is not like what you paid for it, but maybe there's some gratification for some people there.
For some reason, it just feels better than nothing. So.
Yeah. Well, actually, you helped me donate. No, not donate. Sell my old iPad and my old iPhone.
Yeah, we did that through the website Gazelle, and you tell them what you have, how many gigabytes, all that kind of stuff. And if it's even an older one, like your iPad wasn't that new, but it still got like $80 back or something. So it's and it's being dealt with responsibly. If you have old iPads, we'll talk about that a little later when we go into like electronics recycling and stuff like that. But
yeah,
do we want to talk about paper first? Or?
Yeah, we want to talk about paper, and I wanted to.
Oh no, wait. Let's talk about the clothes first.
Well, let me hit on the books real quick. I just wanted to mention Montgomery County, Maryland has a fantastic, through the Friends of the Library, a couple of bookstores in the county. That's a great resource. You can just go and drop off the books. And also, Rebecca, and I know a woman who will come to your house for nonfiction, and she will look at what you have, write you a check for what she wants to resell, and she will take away anything else you have and get it donated. So
It charges $3 a box for hauling away. So even the fiction books that she's not going to buy a James Patterson that you can, get practically for free at Barnes and Noble or Amazon, but she'll haul it away for $3 a box. So again, it's out of your life. It's easy. It's done. She came to you. It's a practically free service, really. So, and you make some money on it. So it is a good, useful service for sure.
Yeah. And let's talk about, we were going to talk about paper, clothes, and I want you to tell people about like wires and cables and ham radio.
Yes. Let's quickly, I mean, everyone knows that you can donate your clothes. And however, some people, again, that other client that really wants, I bought this, I spent a lot of money on my maternity clothes and I'm not pregnant anymore, but I wore them 3 times, so like they're valuable or at least valuable to them. Or you just have nicer clothes that are very gently used. And so you'd like to see if you can get anything back for it. And I have in my car right now, I have a load for Current Boutique here in Arlington, but they're all over the Metro DC area. Very easy to sign up and have an account. They'll go through the bag that you have and say, we're taking these 10 items and not these 3, and they're seasonally appropriate. So sometimes they'll say, we're not taking this now, but bring it back in a couple months. And then, you track what you sell. When you see that you've sold something, you request a check and they send it to you. Bellies and Babies is the maternity and baby clothes stuff. Not just baby clothes, like any kind of baby chairs, baby products, things that you use for your baby. And again, like some things are barely used, or you got 2 of that chair or 2 of that toy or 2 of that something and never returned one of them or never, gave it to somebody else. And so it's a good way to get a little bit of money back. Again, you're not going to be a millionaire from it, but it does feel better than, also with baby stuff, it's hard to donate because they're very specific. And this organization, this company makes sure that they have things that work and, they wouldn't take it if it didn't. And so it's a good, useful thing. And then there's obviously Goodwill that you can donate to. Suited for Change and Dress for Success are great for women's work clothes. So people that are going out there in the workforce that may not have the funds to buy that suit or whatever, they work with people like that. And it's an amazing resource for them. So it's a great thing to donate your old work clothes. Some of us now work in sweatpants. I used to work out here working from home, and so it's a good way to get know it's going for a great cause.
Mm-hmm.
So,
exactly.
Should we move
so
on to
paper, that's a big one for people. And this time of year, people are starting to work on their taxes and looking at their files. And I know how passionately you feel about paper.
Yeah, I'm an enemy of
trees.
I love the trees. I hate the paper. I do love trees, but I
Lorax. You're like the living Lorax.
Yes. But it's more about why do you still have it? It's to save. I mean, it's great to save the trees. However, we can't save the trees that have already been cut down, but we can get rid of the stuff for you and deal with it in a proper way. A lot of people get very stressed over going through that box of paper that's been in the back of their attic forever. And, your Verizon bill from 2002 is still in there. You certainly don't need it. There's nothing sentimental about it, but what do I do with it? It has my account number on there. So the rule of thumb is anything with an account number, a medical record number, a social security number, anything to do that identifies to your identity should be shredded. Some people get a little crazy about addresses. I do not, because I can likely Google you and find out where you live pretty easily. So don't get too crazy about that, but when in doubt, shred. And those are for things that you absolutely don't need. You need to keep taxes for 7 years. So right now I'm keeping things from 2014 on, and the IRS will take anything scanned. So you can use the NEAT system as a digital file cabinet organizational system that I use with a ton of my clients. We scan and then we organize within the thing. And it's when you scan, as opposed to taking a picture, it's an important distinction. It is a readable document now, so that it becomes a PDF that's readable. So it's searchable, so that if you type in, your address or, a doctor's name or something as you're trying to find that, or 1099, because you have a lot of 1099s that you scanned in. Anything with 1099 is going to come up. Anything with that doctor's name is going to come up. So read a readable app like Scannable or Neat. Scannable is a free app. Neat is one that you have to pay for, but they're both readable. Scannable doesn't have the organization, but if you need to scan a receipt and upload it to your bank or whatever, it's a great crisp and clear. And there are other ones out there, other free things, and your iPhones have in your Notes app have a scan function. So but when I take paper, like when Anne's finally going to be moving into her renovated home, we're getting rid of boxes of old taxes and stuff. And so I'm going through everything and deciding what needs to be scanned and then can be shredded, what needs to be scanned and then recycled, or what may need to be kept. You need to keep that title to your car or your home, or, important papers like that can still be scanned, but should be kept. But the majority, any Verizon bill, any bank statement, anything like that, as long as you have it digitally scanned, then you can get rid of it for tax purposes and stuff. And then just remember where you put it. Remember your system. Remember your digital system, and
that's key.
Or hire me. Hire me, and I'll remember it for you.
You better have a big life. I don't know if I should say big life insurance policy, but I don't know. Good backup plan. Yeah. This is really good about paper. You've given us a ton of resources. I'm keeping an eye on time because we're starting to run long, but I wanted to talk about a few other things. So you mentioned electronics, and we wanted to touch on that and like the wiring, if you could hit that real quick.
Okay. So you've upgraded the PS5 and you had a PS3, so you need to properly dispose of that. And the cables that went along with it. And, you probably have 15 Ethernet cables, but you don't use it at all anymore, or old cell phones or batteries and stuff like that. Best Buy, Staples, Home Depot recycles light bulbs and batteries. Staples and Best Buy, you can donate, or you can recycle your old computers, old video game consoles, remote controls, cell phones, batteries as well, all for free. Both of them have like a little section in the customer service part where you just put the electronics on it and walk. I usually walk very quickly away in case they want to tell me I can't leave it, but they never have yet. And then, or your county, and you have to go on your own county's website, find out where the hazardous waste dump is. And in Arlington County, I know you have to make an appointment. In Fairfax County, it's open these hours, and you drive through, and blah blah blah. You can take as you see in the picture, your old gas cans, paint, cleaning solutions, stuff that junk removal won't take away, the movers don't want to take it away, all that kind of stuff. You can properly dispose so that it's not just going in your trash can and a landfill and poisoning us all. So, but check your hazardous waste in your county. It's free. It's just a drop off. You just make your appointment and go, or check how you do it, and go, and it takes 10 seconds to drop off. So it's
I'm blown away by look at how many things Best Buy takes, and those are the little things. Like you said, there's a table for the bigger stuff. Right. You really can get rid of things. You don't have to put them in a corner and let them get dusty. Right.
Right.
I want to mention, while we're on this topic, we're going to do an electronics recycling event, Jennifer and I, later this spring, following tax season, probably in honor of Earth Day and that kind of thing. We'll get information out to our folks. And if you're watching this and you don't get information from us, regularly, but you're interested in learning more, reach out to us. I wanted to say real quickly about those cables. When my dad passed, he was somebody who he was an electrical engineer, and he loved to tinker, and he had a lot of that kind of stuff. And Rebecca had encouraged me to take the cables and find a metal recycling place. I mean, cables, tons and tons of just black cable. And I thought, what could this be worth? So we took some sorted metals and went to Potomac Metals. And there are several of those kinds of places around too. And I think between two different trips, it was almost $300 worth of money from metal recycling.
Yeah, I mean, there is value in what's inside your PlayStation or inside your computer. And so if you don't want to just, you're more likely driving by a Best Buy or Staples, but if you've got the time and you make that pile big enough and it's worth it, who doesn't want a little extra cash? I mean, it's a nice...
I was blown away. I mean, like you say, it paid for a few hours of my time with you, you know?
Right.
So we've
It's
also
the
got
best
some,
way to spend your money.
yes, hire Rebecca. She's efficient, smart, and fun. Um, we also wanted to mention some past resources we've interviewed on Ask the Expert. Jamie Grasso with JG Jewelry and Estates can help you get rid of old jewelry. Let's say you have old nugget jewelry, you know, from the 80s, and you're like, what am I going to do with this? She can help
Or
you.
your grandma's.
Or
And
your
you're never
grandma's.
going to wear it and you don't know if it's junk or not. You may as well have
Right.
Jamie come look at it for sure.
She can help you make it into something, or she can help you
even just find out if it is valuable.
yeah, and coins and silver and that kind of thing too. And she'll give you a check right on the spot. Another person we really like is Rick Reinsch with Digital Recollection. So I had a client who had tons and tons of old family photos, 3 siblings. How do we divide them? And they were talking to me about getting the house cleared out. And I said, oh, you don't have to divide them. You can take it to this place and he'll digitize everything. And then everybody can have a little, you know, thumb drive. He actually did, I think this one he did for me, for my parents. So, you can have, you know, have him do that. And it's a great way that you can get rid of the, you know, any of the photos that you don't want to keep in hard copy, but you have them.
And not just photos, but even the bigger like VHS tapes, you know, or the
yes.
or the whatever those other ones were that went in your camcorder. He'll make that all digital, put it on a hard drive or a flash drive for you. And now you've gotten rid of a lot of bulk and stuff that's really important. You don't want to lose, and you shouldn't do it yourself, because really it's important to treat it properly and preserve that memory. That's what you should be sentimental about, or the videos.
Yes. And the old wedding videos that nobody can watch anymore because they're in the wrong format, he can put it in a format and everybody can
even
celebrate.
The ones on the reel and everything like that.
It's great. So there are great resources, and feel free to reach out to us. I think we hit most of what we wanted to hit. I know we're running long on time, so I wanted to wrap up. Oh yeah, so what's left over? You want to hit this real quick, Rebecca?
Yeah, so just at the end of once you've sent everything to, you know, either auction or donation, or you've sold it, or however you're doing, you've had your estate sale, the rest has to go because you're not taking it with you on your move. And so 123 Junk, I use them, any of these junk places I've used a million times, and they're super fast and efficient, kind, and they even do a broom sweep when they're done. And they also, all the stuff goes to a warehouse where they separate it into what can be donated and what can be recycled properly, and then what is at the end of the day just kind of landfill fodder. But they do it for you, and you pay by the 5th of the truck usually. So, you know, even if you don't have a full truck, they'll still come out and do it.
Yeah, and they're very respectful and good in your home and good about letting you know.
Get a 10% discount. So.
You what?
So my clients get a 10% discount. So
another reason to go with you, Rebecca. So I think that's about it. I mean, we could share so much, Rebecca. This is like drinking from a fire hose. You've given us so much information today. We want to thank you for joining us. Here's Rebecca's contact information. And like I said, if you ever misplaced how you got to this video today or this interview, you can always reach out to me or Jennifer, and we will make sure to connect you with Rebecca, and any of the resources we shared today. We can always make this available to you. So I want to thank you, Rebecca, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always fun.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody who's watching or will be watching in the future. Please don't keep us a secret. Share this link with your friends and family and colleagues who might need good resources. Share Rebecca's information. If you live in a different city and need help finding somebody, we can help you find someone as well. And thank you for joining another episode of Ask the Expert. We hope you will tune in again in 2 weeks when we're going to have Brian McDaniel of Easy Downsizing. I think I called it Easy Auctioning earlier, which is incorrect. He does auctioning, but his company name is Easy Downsizing. And that'll be another interesting insight into how you can get rid of things, or if you're handling a relative's estate. And he's come up with a really brilliant system that's very low impact on the people who hire him. Everybody I've referred him to has been so grateful. So just like you, Rebecca, I just get rave reviews. So I think we've wrapped up. I hope you will join us again next time. I want to thank Jennifer for pulling all the strings behind the scenes here as our Ask the Expert producer, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. Bye, everyone.